All right, welcome to This Explainer. Today we're diving into a really practical step-by-step playbook designed to help you diversify your markets and secure reliable buyers over in Brazil. If you've been sitting there wondering, how do I actually find and lock in buyers in the Brazilian market? Well, you are in exactly the right place. We're going to unpack the exact strategies that top international trade specialists use to crack open what is, quite frankly, one of the most lucrative markets in the world for Bangladeshi exporters.
So here's our roadmap for today. We're going to cover why target Brazil now, what does Brazil import, strategies to find buyers, the BBCI advantage, and finally, avoiding common export mistakes. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. Why target Brazil right now? And really, it's about the danger of overdependence on traditional markets.
Think about your current setup for a second. Are you focusing almost entirely on North America and Europe? Look, those markets are absolute powerhouses. Sure, but relying only on them? That's incredibly risky. It leaves you wide open to some pretty severe vulnerabilities, things like economic downturns, sudden tariff changes, and unpredictable market swings. Basically, if all your eggs are in those two Western baskets, your business is definitely exposed.
Well, the solution to that risk is Brazil. We are talking about a consumer base of over 210 million people. That's a massive, rapidly growing middle class with serious purchasing power. It's literally the largest economy in Latin America. But here's the absolute best part. Getting your foot in the door in Brazil basically acts as your direct gateway to the entire Mercosur region. With this growing demand for imported manufactured goods, exporters who get in and establish a presence today are going to gain a massive first-mover advantage.
Moving on to Section 2. What does Brazil actually import? We're looking well beyond the traditional export sectors here.
For the longest time, everyone looked at this relationship through a single lens, ready-made garments. But honestly, the new reality is so much bigger than that. Yes, apparel is still a staple, but right now, there's a huge growing demand for diverse Bangladeshi products. We're talking pharmaceuticals, software, bicycles, ceramics, and even frozen seafood. Honestly, whether it's ICT services or light engineering, the Brazilian market is actively importing what you're selling. We just have to connect the dots.
Section 3. Strategies to find buyers. This is all about building a professional, highly targeted approach.
Okay, so how do we actually find these buyers? Well, forget the old spray and pray method, blasting out thousands of generic, unsolicited emails that start with, "Dear Sir." Yeah, that's just a one-way ticket straight to the spam folder. Relying only on online marketplaces isn't going to cut it either. Real success in Brazil requires strategic relationship building. It's a long game to establish credibility, not just chasing a quick one-time sale.
And that brings us to the very foundation of your outreach, your digital footprint. Before you even think about sending that first message, you need to be completely export ready. Why? Because Brazilian buyers are absolutely going to research you online to see if you're legit. You need a slick professional website, a polished export catalog with clear specs, and your verified quality certifications proudly displayed. If your online presence doesn't instantly scream reliability, they're just going to move on to the next supplier.
Once you're looking sharp online, where do you go? LinkedIn is incredibly effective here, but we aren't just messaging anyone. You want to surgically target the real decision makers. Look for import managers, purchasing managers, category managers, procurement directors, and retail buyers. And here's a pro tip. Don't pitch your products right out of the gate. Start by building a real professional relationship. Share some valuable industry insights, comment on their posts, and actually earn their trust first.
All right, Section 4. The BBCI advantage. This is your fast track to the Brazilian market.
Look, navigating the business landscape of a totally new continent is intimidating, right? But you really don't have to do it alone. The Brazil-Bangladesh Chamber of Commerce and Industry, or BBCCI, is literally built to facilitate trade, networking, and knowledge exchange between the two nations. They act as your primary mentor and advocate, giving you a reliable platform to navigate this massive market safely.
There's just a night and day difference between doing this solo and having the chamber in your corner. Going independent means relying on cold emails and just guessing if a buyer is actually credible. But with the BBCCI, you're getting warm commercial introductions. You get business matchmaking with pre-screened buyers and access to trade delegations and fairs. It's an absolute game changer that turns a shot in the dark into a highly targeted entry strategy.
And finally, Section 5, avoiding common export mistakes. Let's talk about securing the deal and building trust. So, what are the traps that ruin most export attempts? First up, ignoring Brazilian import regulations. If you don't know the safety certifications or packaging rules for your specific product, your goods are going to get stuck at customs.
period. Second, competing solely on unrealistic prices. This is a huge mistake. Brazilian buyers care way more about consistent supply and strict compliance than just finding the absolute cheapest option. If you only compete on price, you actually look risky to them. Also, don't ignore the local business culture, and please don't depend entirely on online marketplaces.
Now, what happens after you send that perfect first outreach email? Well, most people send one message, hear nothing, and just give up. Don't do that. To stand out, you need a professional 4-step follow-up sequence. Start with a tailored intro, wait exactly 1 week, then follow up politely. If they still haven't engaged, send an educational product update to show you actually bring value. And finally, offer a seasonal deal or an invite to a trade fair. It shows incredible persistence and professionalism without being annoying.
So, we come to the big question, are you ready to make Brazil your next great business partnership? Armed with this strategic blueprint and knowing how to leverage the BBCII, the incredible opportunities in the Latin American market are quite literally waiting for you. The roadmap is right here. With millions of consumers ready to buy and your competitors probably still sleeping on this market, the real question isn't whether you can afford to explore Brazil, it's whether you can afford not to.